Today we're going to be tying up a Hairwing fly called the Þverá Blue. So it's quite a bright fly, so you'll know by now I usually use a white thread whenever I'm using a bright body. Okay, so I'm going to use silver, and it's going to be my tag and my rib. I'm going to secure that in underneath. Bring that to the rear of the shank, just as things start to bend, and then 4 or 5 turns. And that'll create my tag. Screw that in underneath. A few turns. And then you can helicopter that off. Okay. So next we'll do our tail. So I'm just going to add in a few wraps just so it's nice and level between the body and the tail itself. Or the tag, sorry, and I'm using golden pheasant crest because this is a size 10 hook, so I've actually got 2 crest feathers here beside each other. Okay, see they've went different ways here, so just make sure they're in the same direction before applying it. Okay, a few loose wraps first of all. See how it looks. And if you're happy, just secure that in. Okay. Get your scissors and trim off your excess. Okay, so again I'm going to go back to the wire from a rib. Okay, so I'm going to actually put a rib over the butt as well. People don't normally do, but I don't want to be varnishing the butt. I'm going to leave it as is. So I'm going to put that silver on underneath. At the same time I'm going to use some yellow floss that will create a butt. Okay, neaten up a few things before we move on. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a large, but a couple of turns of the yellow will be fine. We'll secure that in underneath. And neaten things up again. Okay, I'll start neatening up the shank here. And as I'm doing it, then I'm going to get some blue floss. So blue floss for the main part of the body. What I'm going to do is to make it a bit quicker, I'm actually going to double it up here. So 1 strand becomes 2. I'm going to bring that up to the butt and bring my thread back down. Okay, and then as I get down to the bottom here, I'm actually going to finish my thread off here. Just a few half hitches, whatever it is I like doing, and that's because I want to change the black thread. Okay, so just add our thread on, and then we'll start weaving up our light blue body. Okay, a few turns to secure that in. And as always, just trim off your excess, keep things neat. Okay, then we want to use our silver rib. And go up the body there in about 4 or 5 turns. Secure that rib off. And as always, whenever you're using wire, you just twist it off. Save yourself time and protect the scissors. Okay, so next thing I want to do is want to add on our hackle. So you could use a throat hackle. Because this is size 10, I'm going to actually just tie on my hackle. Just noticed the wire. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I've just broke off a bit of my tip and I've tied it in at that break. Then I've drawn those feathers back. And that'll give me a very, very secure hold in that stock. Okay, then we just wind on our hackle. Okay, so that's a pattern quite new to me, but I know a few of the fellas use it for the seatrout, and I'd say it'll catch salmon as well, and dolphin. It's a big good dolphin fly. It would do well on grills, for the grills. Okay, so we now have our hackle. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to sweep them all, but I'm just going to make a bit of a flatter area on the top of the shank, and that's for the wing. And for the wing, I'm going to use some dyed blue grey squirrel. Okay. Just going to cut off a piece, hold it towards the tips, and then we just bring off that under fur, and I have those shorter fibres. Have a wee look to see if you're happy enough, and I think that looks good to me. Okay, so I want this wing to be touching that tail or thereabouts. Okay, I'm going to just do first wrap, pinch and loop, other second wrap to secure it. Okay, and then I'm going to get my super glue. I'm going to put on some super glue on about an inch of the thread. Just make sure that wing doesn't slip. And then I'm going to put on those super glued thread wraps onto that wing. Okay, as that's drying, I'm going to just add on a small bit of flesh, which is a few Angelina fibres. It's like a blue purple that I think will go well with this pattern. I'm going to just use the weight of the bobbin, tie that on top. Okay, and then whenever I get those fibres, I don't want them all to be cut the same length. So what I do is I run my scissors along them and just put a wee bit of pressure in different points. That'll give me a nice tapered bit of flesh. Okay. Be sure to distinguish between the tapered flesh and the excess. Okay. So now we just cut off our waist ends. A few turns if you need to. And then we'll start building up that head area. Until you're happy to. Okay. You see that wing's quite wet, but it'll hopefully show up well on the camera. And then to finish off, we just need to do a few turns where we've finished too, which at the same time will continue to build up that head. And that's your fly complete, folks. Hopefully you found that useful. As always, if you did, do check out my other videos coming up on screen now. Until next time, thanks very much. All the best.